Lesson 66, solving polynomial equations. So I'm just going to give you an example of a polynomial equation that needs solving. So whenever you see something like this, we automatically just set it equal to 0. In this case, we had to subtract x squared from both sides. Then we take out our common factors, which is an x. And then we can factor the trinomial to get x minus 4x plus 3. Then we set each of these factors equal to 0. So x can be either 0, 4, or negative 3. It has 3 zeros, or 3 roots. Sometimes when you solve a polynomial equation, you'll get roots that are duplicated. So you'll get like 3 negative 3s, and then a couple of 4s, and that. That's called multiplicity. So the multiplicity of root r of a polynomial equation is the number of times x minus r is a factor of the polynomial. So if I had, when I factored this, if I had an extra x plus 3 and an x plus 3, then the negative 3 would have multiplicity of 3. So it just depends on how many of these in my factoring that I have. That will give you the multiplicity. When you have a polynomial that you're trying to factor, sometimes factor by grouping doesn't work. So what we do is we look for the ratio of p over q. Okay, so p over q. I'll tell you what p is. P is any factor of the constant in your polynomial. And q is a factor of the leading coefficient. So in this case, we're really lucky because there's no leading coefficient. So if we look at our constant, 6, all of the factors of positive 6 are plus and minus 1, plus and minus 2, plus and minus 3, plus and minus 6. Those are all the factors of 6. So you guess and check which one of these would be a factor of this polynomial. So if I guess, I'm just going to guess 1. So I'm going to actually x minus 1. I'm trying to see if x minus 1 is a factor. Remember that if you have your factor, you take the opposite sign. So I do 1, and then I have 1, negative 2, negative 5, and 6. So you bring down the 1, times those to get 1, and then you add these to get negative 1. Don't you add them? Yeah. Then you multiply, you get negative 1, add them, negative 6 times 1 is negative 6, and you get 0. So yes, x minus 1 is a factor. Well, it's just in my notes. I must have tested that before. So we have x squared minus x minus 6, and I feel like we can factor that.
Negative 3, positive 2.
Negative 3, positive 2, x plus 2. Now because that equals 0, the roots would be x can equal 1, 3, or negative 2. And they all have multiplicity of 1. So here's another example that has a leading coefficient. So this takes a lot of work, and you have to know how to do synthetic division. So we find all the factors of 10, and we put that in the numerator. So we can have plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, and plus or minus 10, over all the factors of 4, which is plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4. So you can have so many choices here. You can have 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. You can have a 1/2, a negative 1/2, a 1/4, a negative 1/4. Okay, so these are all the factors that you're going to check. So the possible roots are plus and minus 1, plus and minus 1/2, plus and minus 1/4, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, whoops, that's a plus or minus 5, plus or minus 5/2, plus or minus 5/4, and plus or minus 10. That's if you have 10 over 1. So, there's a way to do this. It's super awesome. No! Ugh. I want to show you how to find it. It's so awesome. But I can't remember, so I have to kind of look at it too. So, can I do this really quick? I'll try to be fast.
Sure.
We just won't have time for practice, that's all. Practice will be gone. So if you go, I have to figure it out though, so I might not be able to do it because we're rushed. If we have possible roots, and then we put the coefficients here for negative 29, 39, and 32, and then negative 10, you can do synthetic division all at once. So I want to see, I'm just going to do all my positive whole numbers. 1, 2, 5, and 10, just because they're easier to do. 1, 2, 5, 10. So you bring down the 4, times it by 1. You have 4, I can't remember what this is. I can't remember. So you bring down the 4, times it by 1. You get 4. Add it to the so negative 25. Add that to the 39, and you get like 14. Add it to the 32, you get 46. So that doesn't work.
Yeah, you don't just do, but it's 1.
Oh, but it's 1. That's why I had that. Then you do bring down the 4, times it by 2, you get 8. Minus 29 is negative 21. Times it by 2 is negative 42. Minus 10. And then when you, wait, what did I do here? I made a mistake. Negative 21 times 2, that should be a negative 42. Sorry.
So that's a negative 2.
So this is a negative, how many?
2.
Or 4,
9,
6.
10, 11, 39, 40 for 142. Isn't it negative 3?
Negative 3.
Sorry, yeah.
Negative 3 times 2.
Is negative 6 plus
That's
times,
16, so it's 26.
and then,
No, that doesn't.
no, I got a negative 6 right here.
That's good, it doesn't.
Oh yeah, because you have to times it by 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. From the 32, you get, what's 32 minus 6?
26.
Times 2.
It is like 52. 52, yeah, you get like 42. I don't get this.
Well, no. There's an example in the book. So look at example 3. And it will teach you how to do this. But this is super awesome. I just didn't have